Hi, this is Abhiram and welcome back to my channel. In today's session, we will discuss about the introduction and the configurations of ledgers in S4HANA. We shall see this from 1909 system perspective. And let us get to the introduction. So what is a ledger and why do we need ledgers? So assume a scenario wherein the business wants to report the transactions in various accounting principles, maybe in legal requirement or for the internal requirement purposes. In such cases, we need to store each and every transaction in different versions for each accounting principle so that it can be easier for the reporting purposes. So this can be achieved, this parallel valuations, whatever we call it, can be achieved in two ways, either by accounts approach or by ledger approach. So in accounts approach, we create a different set of accounts for each accounting principle. So whenever we are posting a document, it posts to every set of account so that it can be stored for each accounting principle, and accordingly the reports for each accounting principle can be extracted. Whereas in ledger approach, we create different ledgers and the documents will be posted for each and every ledger, which will be assigned to different accounting principles, and accordingly the reporting requirements can be met. So what is the difference between accounts approach and why are we having ledger approach in S4HANA and what are the advantages of it? So in accounts approach, there is a lot of data footprint. Every document will be stored for each and every account and all these will be stored into the tables. But whereas in ledger approach, with different types of ledgers having, not all the ledgers will store the values in the universal journal table, which is the AC doc A table, and so that the data footprint is very less. Whereas even the ledger approach is having its own drawbacks. For example, few ledgers like non-leading ledgers cannot be activated during the mid of a fiscal period. It can be done only at the end of fiscal period, and in order to overcome this one, SAP also provides different types of ledgers which are called extension ledgers. So before further discussion, let us get into what are the different types of ledgers and why we require them. So we are having standard ledgers and extension ledgers as different types of ledgers in S4HANA. So standard ledgers are those ledgers which will be posted onto the AC docket table, and extension ledgers are those which will have any of the standard ledger as an underlying ledger, and whatever data that is being shown on the extension ledgers will not be stored into the AC docket table in most of the cases. There is an exception for this one and we will see that later. So why do we need an extension ledger when we are having a standard ledger? So usually whatever the accounting principle as per the legal requirement of the country of the business, those will be posted onto a leading ledger which is 0L, that is standard provided by SAP. And if there are any other additional accounting principles under which the reporting is to be done, then we create non-leading ledgers, which is also a type of standard ledger. And all the documents that are posted to these leading or non-leading ledgers will be stored onto the AC docket table. So when we are meeting different requirements of storing data or reporting data as per different accounting principles by using just standard ledgers, why do we require an extension ledger? So there are few limitations with standard ledger. As we have discussed earlier, we saw that a non-leading ledger cannot be activated during the middle of a financial year. So to overcome this one, we have extension ledgers. Extension ledgers can be created at any point of time and they can be activated during the mid of year or the beginning of the year, and reporting can be done accordingly. Not only this, but in S4HANA, as we are having a universal journal table, which is a single table for the data from all the modules like FI, CO, etc., it is difficult to do allocations for management purposes without any impact on the postings of FI, so which is a legal limitation. So to overcome this one, we need in some other way wherein the management can play with the data and use for the internal reporting purposes. So for that requirement, we use extension ledgers. And as we discussed, extension ledger cannot be added to the ledger groups manually, and an extension ledger should have a standard ledger as an underlying ledger. So when we are creating an extension ledger, we define what is the underlying standard ledger. The underlying ledger can be only a standard ledger, which is a leading ledger or a non-leading ledger, but it cannot be another extension ledger. So what is a base ledger or this underlying ledger we are talking about? we discussed that whatever data is posted onto the extension ledgers is not stored on the AC docket table. So where is it stored and how is it stored? So the data storage is dealt with the underlying ledger. So only that data which is posted onto the underlying ledger is stored onto AC docket, and whatever the extension ledgers, there can be n number of extension ledgers which are linked to the same base ledger or the underlying ledger. So for all these n extension ledgers, there is no a separate copy of data that is stored onto AC docket. So the data footprint is reduced. But at the same time, whenever we want to see the data that is posted to the extension ledgers, for example, if you are running an FAGL L03 report, and if you want to see the documents that are posted onto this particular extension ledger, we can still see the system extracts this data from the underlying ledger and shows us into the reports. So for reporting purposes, we can use extension ledgers without any additional data footprint into the tables. So this is a primary advantage of extension ledgers. So we are having three types of extension ledgers. We are having a standard extension ledger, we are having a simulation ledger, and we are having a predictive ledger. So what is the difference? A standard extension ledger, as we discussed till now, it can be used for reporting purposes. The management can use this ledger to play the data with. They can use for different reporting purposes, different forecasting purposes by using the data that is posted onto a standard ledger. And what is a simulation ledger? So simulation ledger is used for different purpose, like foreign currency valuations. So before posting the foreign currency valuations onto the documents, onto the standard ledgers, if someone wants to do a simulation run for this foreign currency valuations, we can do a simulation, but in normal cases, if you perform just a simulation, whenever we come out of the transaction, the data is not saved. So to avoid that, we can use a simulation ledger for the simulation run of foreign currency valuations. So while doing a foreign currency valuation, if we check the simulation run button and we can provide a simulation ledger on that screen, then whatever the values that are shown on the screen will be stored onto these extension ledgers. So you can store the data onto a simulation ledger and the management can have a look on the foreign currency valuation postings, and accordingly they can take some decisions. And whenever you are fine with the foreign currency valuation, then you can do a update run which will be posting the values onto the leading ledgers. So this is the purpose of a simulation ledger. And what is a predictive ledger? Predictive ledger is used in S4HANA for a different purpose which we call as COGS split, which is a cost of goods sold split. So in S4HANA, in controlling, we are having a new feature called COGS split, wherein we split the entry of cost of goods sold as per its components. So we can split based on the expenses, whatever the expenses that are incurred, rather than just storing as a two entry document. We can split the entire cost of goods sold into different components that are involved in the cost of goods sold. So to do this, we need a predictive ledger. So for defining a predictive ledger, controlling must be activated in the company code, and commitment management should be active in the controlling area. So these are the prerequisites for enabling a predictive ledger in the company code. So we discussed that a simulation ledger is used for foreign currency valuation simulation run. So when we perform the simulation run, the values are stored in a simulation ledger, and these values can be later on deleted or be overwritten and can be again stored onto a standard ledger. For example, if you want to run a simulation run on a second time for foreign currency valuation, then whatever values are stored onto the simulation ledger in the previous run can be overwritten. And similarly, when you want to do an update run, then you can leave the simulation ledger as these values are still stored in AC.A, or else you can delete the values into of the simulation ledger and then perform an update run which will store the values into a leading ledger. So for this purpose, or for this reason, the simulation ledger is also called as an extension ledger with deletion possible. So let us go into the system and see what are the various options and various configuration settings that we are having for ledgers, and we will also try posting a document, and we will also see what are the new features that are provided in S4HANA for currency types and how these values are stored in the AC.A table. So we are in the SAP system, we are in the transaction code SPRO, and now let us see the configurations for the ledgers. So we'll go to the financial accounting, global settings, And here we have a node for ledgers, ledger. And if you see, we are having three different settings for this one: for defining the ledgers and the currency types, or to deactivate a ledger for a company code, and define a ledger group. So we will go in sequence. We'll come to the ledger group later. So now let us go to creation of ledger. This is the screen of ledger configurations. As we discussed, the leading ledger is 0L. If you see here, the leading option is enabled for this one. This is the type of standard ledger, and here you can see what type of ledger is this one, and if it is an extension ledger, what type of extension ledger is this one can also be selected for this one. And for extension ledgers, as we said, we need to enter an underlying ledger in this column. And from SAP 1909 S/4HANA versions, we are having valuation views. So we can assign or restrict a particular ledger for a particular valuation view. So if we do that, whatever the currency that is assigned for that particular valuation view, be it a legal valuation or profit center valuation or a group valuation, so whatever currency is assigned for this particular valuation view, only those currency related postings can be posted onto that particular ledger. And we are also having the accounting principles that are assigned to each of the ledgers. So now in the entire system of SAP, there can be only one leading ledger. So if you create a new ledger and if you want to set it as a leading ledger, this leading ledger 0L should be unchecked, and whatever the new ledger you want to set it as 0L or the standard leading ledger, that needs to be enabled this for that particular ledger. But it is not recommended by SAP to use any other new ledger as a leading ledger, because this is the standard one that is provided by SAP and we can use that as it is. So I'm not going to create any new leading ledger, but I will create other non-leading ledgers and extension ledgers. So before that, let us assign this leading ledger to our company code. So here we can see under ledger, we are having two different settings. We can enter the company code settings for the ledger, and we can assign accounting principles for the ledgers. So this is the 0L. Let me go to the company code settings. Here you can see various company codes are assigned to this particular leading ledger. So now let me create a new entry. Or else let me search my company code, and here you can see we are already having this new company code. So let me double click this one. So here we can see there are various currency types that are assigned to this one. So there is a local currency assigned, there is a global currency, and as controlling is activated for this company code, there is a controlling area currency. In addition to this one, we can assign various other currencies for a particular ledger. So if we see here, we are having other currency types, and we can also create custom currencies, and we can assign that custom currencies to a ledger type. From SAP 1603 S/4HANA, SAP has provided a feature of creating custom currencies for different valuation purposes, and we can assign these currency types to a ledger, and these additional currencies are stored in the AC.K table. So before we go and assign a new currencies, let us go to the currency type settings. So here you can see there are various currencies: the description of the currency type, and the short description, and the valuation views. And you can see here the different settings for definition level. So either a currency type can be global or it can be a company code specific. So global means all the company codes can use that particular currency type without any additional configurations. But whereas company code specific means this particular currency type needs to be assigned manually to a particular company code in order to use that in the company code. And you can see for few currency types, this option of global or the company code specific is enabled, but whereas for a few currency types, it is grayed out, because SAP does not allow to change the currency types for few of the standard currency types like document currency. If you see here, the company code currency or the controlling area currency. So there are various currency types which SAP does not want us to change the definition level. We can create new currencies. So let us create new currencies. So I will create a currency called A1, Let me check if it is already present or not. So A1 is already there. So let me go and let me see what is not available so that we can assign that. So V is not there. So let me go V1. Sorry, this is lecture types. Let's go to the currency types. Okay, here A1 is not present. So I can go ahead and create a currency type called A1. So I will say this as my company code custom currency 1. So my company code is having a currency called GBP. It is the local currency for this one. So now if I want the reporting to happen in few custom currencies, for example, let me take it as euro. So I will take this as euro. So I'll leave it as a legal valuation, and here I'll put it as company code so that we can also see how can we assign a currency type to a company code. So let me save this. So now the currency type, the custom currency type A1 is defined, and here if you see there is an option for global currency conversion settings and currency conversion settings for company codes. So what is the difference? We saw earlier that a currency type can either be defined at a global level or a company code specific. So if it is a global currency, then we need to go under the global currency conversion settings to define the settings for the currency type. Here we see what are the different currency settings that we need to define for a currency type. So if there is a company code currency 10, we define what is a source currency. Here it is defined as a document currency. And what is the exchange rate type that needs to be used for this currency type, and what is the translation date type that needs to be selected for this one, and whether real-time conversion should be active or not. Similarly, same settings needs to be defined for currency types which are company code specific. As the custom company code we define A1 is a company code specific currency type. So let us go here and create an entry for our company code. Here we need to assign this currency type A1 to our company code ABGB. Currency type is A1. Here we will define what is the currency. So we discussed that we want this additional custom currency to be EUR. So I will define it as euro. And here we need to define the source currency. So I will take document currency as a source currency. So whatever or whichever currency the document is posted, that currency will be taken as a source currency. And I will take the standard average rate M for the exchange rate type, and the translation date I will take it as a translation date, and the real-time conversion is active. Let me try to save this. So in the previous step we defined a currency type, we defined a custom currency type, and we defined whether it should be a global level or a company code specific currency type. We define it as currency as company code specific. So under the company code currency conversion settings, we linked this custom currency code to the company code. We define the source currency, we define the exchange rate type, and we define what is the translation date type that needs to be selected. So now let us go back to the ledger settings. Now before this one, it is important to note that from S4HANA 1603 version or 1503 versions, SAP provided an option to create up to 8 additional currencies. So these 8 additional currencies can be created in the previous screen where we saw, and all these will be stored in AC docket table, and these can be assigned to various ledgers under company code level or global level. So if you see in ECC under the F5, which is BSEC, We used to have three currency types. We used to have local currency and second currency and a third currency, which can be global currency or group currency. And under controlling, which is COEP, we used to have object currency, which is a controlling object currency, and controlling area currency. Similarly, under material ledger, we used to have three currency types, which is a local currency, which have a group currency, and a profit center currency. So this was how the different currency types used to exist in ECC. But now in S4 HANA, although majority are similar, but we are having a few changes. So let us see that. So under FI, which is the BSEC, we have the same. We have the first currency, which is or probably local currency, and we are having a group currency, second currency, and other third currencies. So three currencies are present in BSEC table, even in S4 HANA also. And under controlling area or the CO, we are having the same currency in company code, whatever the currency it is, and we are having a controlling area currency. And if we go to AC.K, here we are having various currencies. This is a major difference. We are having local currency, which is probably type 10, and we are having a global currency. In addition to these two, we are having 8 additional currencies, which is the first additional currency or second additional currency. You can define up to 8 additional currencies, and these 8 additional currencies are stored in AC.K. So if you see, in BSEC there is no difference. BSEC is still having only 3 currencies, but whereas AC.K is having a total of 10 currencies. So these 10 currencies are stored under various fields like OSL, BSL. There are various other fields which are stored in this one. We have BSL to CSL, so on up to BSL, CSL, D, E, F, and GSL. We are having all these 8 currencies. So this is a major difference in how the currency types exist in ECC whereas in S4HANA. So now going back to the settings of defining a ledger, we have the leading ledger. Now let us try assigning this leading ledger to our company code. So this is our company code ABGB, and we are already having the legal local currency, global currency, and controlling object currency assigned to this company code. So now we have defined an additional currency A1, and let us try assigning this one to our company code. So if you see here, EUR has already been populated. And save it. So now we have defined a custom currency and we have assigned it to the leading ledger under the company code. So we should also assign the accounting principle. The major purpose of having different ledgers is parallel valuation, wherein we want to do a reporting under various accounting principles. So for each accounting principle, for each ledger, we need to assign an accounting principle. So let us see what different accounting principles are currently created in the system. So let me go to STRO. So under financial accounting, global settings, ledgers, parallel valuation approach, parallel accounting, and define accounting principles. So here I will define a new accounting principle. So we will define as a VP1, which is probably based on IFRS, and let us define few more. This is US GAAP, maybe Europe GAAP, I'm defining randomly some accounting principles in the system. This can be defined separately, or we can use the existing accounting principles that are already present in the system. So we are having all the major ones. We are having IFRS, we are having various others. I mean, this being a test system, we are having many copies of this, but SAP provides default with all the major accounting principles. So we can use those accounting principles. So here we are having a setting of ledger groups. So we did not discuss what is a ledger group. Once we are done with configuration of ledgers, then we will come back to ledger groups. So now let us go back, and here let us create a new entry, and here I will assign my accounting principle. So till now we have created a ledger. Sorry, we did not create any new ledger. We used the existing leading ledger 0L. We assigned it to company code. We defined new currency type at a company code level, and we have defined settings for currency conversion, and we have assigned that particular company currency type to company code. We have created new accounting principles and assigned these accounting principles to our company code for a leading ledger. Now let us go and define a new ledger. So before this, okay, we have checked what is availability. So I will define it as non-leading ledger. So we discussed that leading and non-leading ledgers are type of standard ledgers. These standard ledgers post values onto ACDocket table, and these are used for various parallel accounting purposes. So as this is a non-leading ledger, it's a type of standard ledger, and here we say it is a standard journal entries. And as we did not enable this leading checkbox, this system considers this as a non-leading ledger. So we did not define any underlying ledger for this one because this is not an extension ledger. The valuation view, I'll put it as legal valuation and hit enter. Similarly, let us define V2, which is our extension ledger. So here for extension ledger, we will select it as extension ledger. And under extension ledger, if you see, there are three different types. Line item technical numbers with no deletion possible, and line item with technical numbers or deletion possible, and the journal entries for valuation differences. So we discussed earlier that there are three different types of extension ledgers, which is a standard extension ledger, a simulation ledger, and a predictive ledger. Simulation ledger, we said it will be used for foreign currency valuations, and in that the deletion is possible, and hence it is called as line items with technical numbers or deletion possible. Predictive ledger, we discussed that it will be used for COGS split, and whatever values that are posted to a prediction ledger cannot be deleted. So it is called as line items with technical numbers and no deletion possible. So now let us try to create a general extension ledger. So I'll post this for valuation differences, which is a standard extension ledger type. And here we need to define what is an extension, what is the underlying ledger. So for this one, I will define 0L as my underlying ledger. Here also let me put it as legal valuation. And warning message, let us see. The valuation view 1 of ledger V2 is different from the underlying ledger 0L. Probably the underlying ledger 0L is not having any valuation view selected. So let me leave like that. And now let us define another extension ledger. Here we will define it as a simulation ledger. So again, this is of an extension type. Here we are having line items, technical numbers or deletion possible. So for this one, I will take V1, which is my underlying ledger, as my non-leading ledger, and the valuation view is legal. Similarly for V4, let it be a predictive ledger. Type P, underlying ledger is V1, and valuation is legal valuation. So we have defined four new types of ledgers, one a non-leading ledger and three extension ledgers. One is a standard extension, one is a simulation, and one is a predictive ledger. So let us go ahead and repeat the same steps that we have done for the leading ledger. Now go back or select non-leading ledger, go to company code settings, and here if you see, this is a newly created ledger and there are no company codes assigned. So now create a new entry for our company code, and let us try selecting a different fiscal year. So the fiscal year assigned for the company code ABGB is K4, which is the calendar year with 4 special periods. But in this non-leading ledger, we are selecting a different fiscal year variant, and let's see what the system will say. And posting period variant, which is assigned to the company code, is ABGB, but here again I am selecting a different posting period. So now let us see and hit enter. So it did not give any error because extension ledgers can have a different fiscal period, different fiscal variant, and different posting period variant compared to that of a standard ledger. So this is the main advantage. If you want, if the company belongs to different companies, if the company exists in different countries and each country is using a different fiscal year variant, then company can create various ledgers and they can use these ledgers under various fiscal years so that the reporting can be done according to that particular country's fiscal year variant. Now let me go back and let me put as V3 probably, it is April to March. And posting period variant again I am selecting the same so that I can control what data is being posted on this one. Okay, okay, okay. So the global currency, for some reason it is not automatically populated because this is not assigned to this one. Okay, the currency type A1, which is a custom currency type which we have defined, is automatically populated from the leading ledger for this non-leading ledger. So let us go to the accounting principles and let us add an accounting principle. We have earlier assigned ABP1, now I will assign ABP2. Now let us go back to the previous ledgers. We have defined other ledgers. V2 is an extension ledger and let us assign this extension ledger to our company code. So if we remember, the fiscal year variant assigned to our leading ledger is K4 and to our non-leading ledger V1 is V3. Now the underlying ledger for this extension ledger V2 is leading ledger, which is 0L. So now let us enter the company code, and if you see here, the field fiscal year variant is no longer editable in the extension ledger because the rule for extension ledger is that the fiscal year variant should be the same as that of the underlying ledger. So in this case, the underlying ledger, which is a leading ledger, is having K4 as the fiscal year variant. So for this extension ledger, we cannot change the fiscal year variant anymore. But whereas the posting period variant can still be changed. So this is for the purpose of managerial reporting. If they want to do some postings in the previous or the future periods for some valuations or the forecasts, then the posting period can be changed, but whereas the fiscal year variant should be the same as that of the underlying ledger. Try saving this one. So there was some system issue with the currency type A1. It is not allowing us to save. So I have created a new currency type under the Z space with ZV and the same settings. It is of currency type EUR and it is a company code specific currency. And I have also defined the company code assignment and the currency conversion settings for this under the company code ABGB. The currency is assigned as euro. The source currency is the company code currency. The exchange rate is M and the translation date is taken as the date type. And under my leading ledger, I have assigned this currency type ZV under the custom currency. So under 0L for my company code, I have replaced A1 with ZV. And now let me also go to the non-leading ledger V1. And for my company code again, let me change this to ZV. And let me see if the accounting principle is assigned. Yes. And let me try to save it and let us see if again there is any error from the system. Fine, the system did not throw any error this time. Okay, so now again let us go to the extension ledger V2, and for this company code, earlier it did not allow us to save because of some error with the currency type A1. So now we already saw that the fiscal year variant is same as that of the underlying ledger, whereas the posting period variant can be changed for an extension ledger. So the currency types have been populated automatically, and let us go to the accounting principle. Here I will assign it as AVP3 and save it. So it is saved successfully. Now let us go back to the other ledgers. Let me go to V4, and here also I will give my company code, and fine. Now let me give some accounting principle AVP4 and save it. So I have already defined for the ledger V3. So all the three extension ledgers and the non-leading ledger V1 and the leading ledger 0L have been defined successfully. We have defined various currency types, we have used custom currency types, and we have assigned accounting principles for each of the ledger. So now let us go back and see what are the settings that we are having for ledger groups. So what is a ledger group? So in S4HANA, whenever a ledger is created, automatically a ledger group is created with the same name. So if we go to this and check, so let us search with V1. So if you see here, there is automatically ledger groups that are created with the same names that we have created in the previous transaction code. We did not manually create any ledger group, but in S4HANA, a ledger group with the same name as that of a ledger is automatically created. Ledger groups are used to group together the ledgers so that they can be used for various reporting purposes, or in other modules like asset accounting, we can assign depreciation areas to a ledger group rather than a single ledger. So if there is a requirement to group together various ledgers, then we need to go to any one of the existing ledger group, and under the ledger assignment tab, we need to add a new values for this one. So if there are more than one ledgers under a ledger group, there is a concept of representative ledger, which is like the main ledger for this ledger group. So this setting is to deactivate a ledger for a company code. For example, if you do not want to have a ledger group active for this one anymore, but it is already defined, then going ahead, we can disable this particular ledger. And earlier we saw a few settings under controlling, whereas under parallel accounting, we saw assign accounting principles to ledger groups. So here if you see, if there are any ledger groups that are created, we can assign an accounting principle for a ledger group. So this is required because whenever we want to define these ledgers under for depreciation areas in asset accounting, then each and every ledger or a ledger group should have an accounting principle assigned, because in asset accounting we do not assign a ledger directly to a depreciation area. We assign based on the accounting principle. When we give the accounting principle, whatever the ledger or the ledger group that is assigned to the accounting principle in this transaction will be automatically picked in asset accounting. So for that one, we need to define what is the assignment between the accounting principle and the ledger or the ledger group. So now let us assign the accounting principle that we have created. So AVP1, we have assigned it to our leading ledger. AVP2, we have assigned it to V1, P3 to V2, to V3, and also again AVP4 to V4. Okay, so this is not possible. So let me assign some other accounting principle here to V4. So maybe I will take as 0001 and assign it to V4. Looks like someone had already posted using the ledger group V4. So we are not able to assign an accounting principles as of now, but that is not an issue as long as we are not configuring asset accounting at this point. So now if you go back and if we check the settings for the ledgers, let us have a recap. We have defined a currency type, which is a custom currency type, and for the custom currency type we have assigned it as a company code specific, and we assigned few company code currency conversion settings at a company code level for that currency type. We have defined various ledgers, leading and non-leading ledgers and standard ledgers, and we have assigned these to company code and also to the accounting principles. It's okay, we're having AVP4, later on we'll change this one. So now let us go and let us try to post some document. Let me create some GL accounts before we try to post some documents. Field status group, I will take it as general or I'll take it as an account. Save it. So this is primary cost element, expense account. So we'll take it expense. Let me take it as salary expenses. So the cost element category, I'll take it as primary cost, short key, save it. Now let me go to FB01 and let us try to post a document. So let me debit the expense account. Let us also define a cost center. Fine, we have defined the cost center. I will give the cost center here and let us credit the cash account. The same amount and valued it is to this date. Okay, so here we did not define any ledger. So this is not a ledger specific posting. We are in general posting FI document in the company code. So now let us save this. Okay. So document splitting is enabled and hence we are receiving this error. So let us go to SPRO and let us deactivate document splitting. So document splitting is enabled at client level, but we can disable the document splitting for each individual company code. So 0012 is the standard document splitting type that is created by SAP. So for my company code, I am changing it as inactive and save it. Done. So now let me try to post it. Okay. Customizing settings for the ledgers. Okay, there are some issues with this one. Okay, this is a problem. So if you see here, earlier we have created this only few ledgers. We have created 0L, V1, V2 and V3, V4. But if you see here, there are various other ledgers that are assigned to this one in addition to this what we have defined. This is because in S4HANA, whenever a new extension ledger is created, it is automatically assigned to all the company codes that are pre-existing. So while we are creating, we need to ensure that we are not having any other company codes in the company code assignment for a particular ledger type, and if there are any which we don't require, we need to delete those. So let me delete this min pipe. So now I have removed all the errors. I have removed the assignment of extension ledgers from my company codes for which I have not created any ledgers. So let me try to post this, and the document is now posted. So let us display the document. So if you see here, there is no ledger group, and we are having two different views in S4HANA. So we have a data entry view in which we can see the document as the same which we have posted, and there is a different view which is called general ledger view. So this GL view is where we can see this document from the perspective of different ledgers which we have posted. So now let me select different ledgers. So here we can see all the 5 ledgers are leading ledger and are non-leading ledger and or 3 extension ledgers which we have created. So from the leading ledger perspective, we can already see this is the document type that is posted. So again, if we click this one, so this is the document. Now I will go to another ledger. Let me go to the non-leading ledger view. So here you can see this is for the ledger V1 and this is the document. Similarly, we can see this for other ledgers. So what is the document number? This is the document number and it is posted on 5 ledgers, 2 standard ledgers and 3 extension ledgers. Let us see how this is handled at the table level. So if you go to AC Doc and if I give my company code and if I give the fiscal year 2020 and the document number and execute, let us see how many entries are created for this one. We can see there are only 4 entries, only for the primary ledger or the leading ledger and the non-leading ledger. As we discussed, extension ledgers do not create any entries onto the AC Doc table unless until the document is explicitly posted to the extension ledger. But in our case, this document is not explicitly posted to any ledger, but this is posted in general on the company code. So here we can see only 4 entries are occupied in AC Doc table by this document. But whereas if you go for the accounts approach, if there are 5 different set of accounts for 5 different accounting principles, then we would have seen 10 accounting entries or 10 entries in AC in the BSET table. So this was the major drawback of accounts approach, wherein the data footprint is quite high, and in ledger approach it is very less with the introduction of extension ledgers. Now let us go and let us see what is the data that is taken in BSET table. So the company code and same document number and execute. You can see here there are only 2 entries, only the 2 header items have been posted and that is posted without any ledger specific entry. So you can see there are 2 entries in BSET and there are 4 entries in AC Doc A. So now let us also see for which all currencies this have been posted. So here you can see the freely defined currency is euro, which is ROCUR. So we have defined one freely defined currency or one custom currency, And for this particular ledgers, we are having local currency and we are having company code currency, we had global currency, and we had one additional currency. So we can see all the four currencies are populated for this document number. But whereas if you go to this one in PSEC table and let us see what are the different currencies that are posted. We are having the general ledger currency, and we do not see any additional currencies because these additional currencies, which are the 8 custom currencies which SAP provided, can be created only at AC.K level but not at the PSEC level, which is FI level. So now let us go back and let us try to post a document specific to a ledger. So in order to post a document specific to a ledger, let us go to FB01L. So in this one, we can give what is a ledger group or the ledger onto which we want to post. So again, document date, let us take today's date, and this time let me post only onto a leading ledger for my company code. So again, the same. And save. So document has been created. Let us display this document. So here if you see, this is posted to a specific ledger group which is 0L. So now let me go to the ledger view and see what are the other ledgers that this has been posted. So there is no pop-up we are getting for this one because this is posted only onto 0L. So now let us see how this data is being occupied for this document. So in AC.Doc, if you see, we are having only 2 entries, that is only for the leading ledger onto which this document is explicitly posted. Similarly, if you go to BSEC, here also we are having only 2 entries, which is for the leading ledger. Now again, let us post a document onto extension ledger. So we have already observed that in AC.A we can see the entries only for a leading ledger and the non-leading ledger, which is a standard ledger type, but we cannot see any entry onto extension types. But whereas if you go to the report of displaying the documents, for example, if I go to this FAGLL03 and if I see for this document for account type and let me choose a ledger, let me choose V2 which is my extension ledger and let me execute it. I can see that there are documents that are posted onto the extension type ledger, but we cannot see the entries for this extension ledger in AC.A or PSEC tables. So this is how the data footprint is reduced whenever we are posting, and the reporting can be more efficient because the extension ledgers can still be extracted in the reports. So let us go and let us try to post a document. Now let us try to post a document onto an extension ledger and let us see what happens. Now I'll post onto V2, only V2. Okay, so now earlier when we tried to post only onto 0L ledger, we did not face any such error. But here if we see, when we are trying to post to a specific ledger group which is not a leading ledger, we are receiving an error that no document number is found for entry view for the document type SA and ledger V2. So let us explore why we are getting this error. Before that, so let me again try the same thing on a different ledger, probably a non-leading ledger V1. Okay, it says the posting period 6, this is posting period 9, fine. So here it is saying posting period 6 is not open because if you remember for the non-leading ledger we have posted the fiscal year variant we have selected is as per April to March. So as per April to March fiscal year, September falls under period 6, but In the posting period variant, the September period is not open. So let me go to for the posting period variant, and let me also open period 6. Save it, and now let me post. So again we got the same error, whereas the document type SA, no document number is created in the ledger V1. So we did not receive this error for the leading ledger, but whereas for non-leading ledgers or extension ledgers, we are receiving this error messages. So what is missing? In S4HANA, whenever we create any new ledger type other than the leading ledger, we need to create or assign a number range for a particular document type for that particular ledger. So let us go back to ledgers and let us go to document number ranges, okay, document types, and here define document types in a ledger. So now let us go to a non-leading ledger V1. Okay, looks like some issue with the system. Okay, for document type SA, let us create an, let me check what are the number ranges that I'm having for this one before we go into this, so that we can assign a non-overlapping number range for this document type. In my company code, probably I'm having X1 which is not being used, so I will assign X1. So let me go to define document types in a ledger. For the ledger V1, for document type SA, I will assign the number range X1 and save it. Okay, it says the number range X1 is used by interest programs, so we cannot use this. Fine. So let me check if we can assign X2. I doubt. Okay, it is just for sample documents, right? So let me create a new number range. Let me copy this one. X3 for all the years, and the number ranges. This one. Save. Okay, now let us go back to this one and assign this number range X3 to document type SA in the non-leading ledger V1. Fine. Similarly, we need to assign the number ranges for all the document types, whatever we want to post explicitly to a particular ledger. All those document types, we need to assign a number range in this setting. So now let me also do for my extension ledger V2. I'll use the same one. Save. And for the others, I'm not defining at this point. So now let us hit enter. Let us see if we can get an error. So that error message is now gone. So debit the expenses and credit my cash account. Save. So now this document is posted explicitly onto a non-leading ledger. So if you see now, the number range has been changed. Now let us display this document. Earlier when we posted explicitly to the leading ledger, the number range was same as that of the previous documents, because whatever we are entering for the number range for a particular document type at company code, that is taken by the leading ledger automatically. But when you try to post explicitly to a non-leading ledger or any extension ledger, that number range is picked up from the previous setting which we just configured. So let me go to AC.A and let us see how many documents or how many entries are created for this one. So again it is same, it is created only for the ledger V1, and in PSEC no values are found because the BSEG we will have only documents for that of a leading ledger. We will not have any document or any entry for a document that belongs to a non-leading ledger or an extension ledger. So now again let us go back and post a document explicitly to an extension ledger and see what happens. So the ledger group is again V2 because for V2 we have assigned the document type, so it should be fine, only V2 with the expenses. Credit my cash account. So this is salary expenses. Let me go back. 50 cash account. Simulate. Looks fine. And we are posting this to an extension ledger and save it. So the document is posted. Now let us see the entries. So let us go to AC.A, execute. So now you can see entries for non-leading ledger, sorry, for the standard ledger V2, because we posted this document explicitly to this particular ledger or the ledger group. Now go to BSEG, and in BSEG now execute for this one, and again no values are found because this is not a leading ledger, so we cannot find any entries for this ledger type in BSEG. We can find it only for AC.A. Now there is one more interesting transaction code, which is FBL3H. Under FBL3H, we can see what are the number of entries that are being consumed by the database for each and every document. So now let us execute this one. So here you can select various fields, and you can, if you want to see how many entries are posted onto a particular database, you can see the number of database rows, you can see the number of quantity. So let me go back, set the report. Let me try why I'm not receiving this. See, here you can see that the number of database rows that is being chosen for this one is 2. So here this is an interesting transaction that you are having in S4HANA, wherein you can see the number of database rows occupied by a particular account or document. Fine. So just a recap, what we observed was different ledger types, and we saw that only the leading ledgers are posted directly to AC.A and BSEG, and non-leading ledgers and extension ledgers are posted only to AC.A, and extension ledgers do not occupy any database entries if it is not explicitly posted to that particular extension ledger. Now let me go to FBL AGL-L03, and whatever document that we have created earlier to the extension ledger V2, let me see what are the entries. So you can see only 3 entries. The first 2 which we have posted, the first one, this is which we have posted to all the ledgers, this one we have posted to all the ledgers, and this one we have posted explicitly to this particular ledger. So again, if you go back and if we execute this one and see, if you see this first one, this one we have posted without giving any ledger, but whereas this one 5000 we have posted by giving V2, which is the extension ledger, as the ledger, and whereas this one we did not post to this ledger explicitly, but we have posted to the underlying ledger, which is 0L. So when we have posted to 0L, those entries will be again visible under the extension ledger. So here you can see the various currency types that are assigned to this one, and We can see the local currency 1, local currency 2, and this is the custom currency which we have defined. And if there are any more freely defined currencies, we can see those values also here. Similarly, now let me go to the non-leading ledger V1 and execute it. So here you can see only two entries. The first one which I have posted to all the ledgers, and this is 9300 which we have posted to only ledger V1. And if we see other ledgers like V3, we find only two which we have posted to, one to the leading ledger or for all the ledgers, and the other one to the underlying ledger which is the non-leading ledger. As this is posted to the underlying ledger, we are able to see it in the ledger specific entry also. But no database entry is occupied for either of these two because these two entries are not posted explicitly onto the ledger V3. Whereas if we go to the ledger V2, which is an extension ledger again, and execute it, although we are having three entries, we will be able to find ACDOCK entries only for these two. But this one, sorry, only for this 93001 in ACDOCK, because only this document is the one which is posted explicitly to the non-leading ledger V2. But whereas this one we can find it only for standard ledgers, and again 1001 we can find only for the non-leading ledger. So this summarizes what SAP has introduced the ledger concept in S/4HANA 1909. We saw different types of ledgers, we saw different types of currencies that are available, we can saw how we can configure and how these entries take the database entries. So in further sessions, we will discuss how we can configure asset accounting. Stay tuned. Thank you.